we, as human beings, as society, we have agency. We decide what happens as a human society. So the purpose of education could be, for example, this is my version, my go, is to equip them with the skills to reimagine society to meet the challenges of their generation. It's not about us anymore, it's about them. You know what, I was talking to some children on Saturday morning and they wanted to stop wars. It's a great idea, right? So I said, well, let's get rid of passports. Let's get rid of borders. Would we allow them to do that? Would we stand in their way? Perhaps a better purpose is for the benefit of all.
It's about using the drawing to convert the complex text and conversations into simple drawing, so your messages will be delivered faster. Yeah? This is simply what is visual harvesting. Now the question is, do I need to be talented in drawing to be a good visual harvester? The answer is no.
Americans have a thing called Ubuntu. We believe that a person is a person through other persons, that my humanity is caught up, bound up inextricably with yours. Therefore, you seek to work for the common good because your humanity comes into its own in community and in belonging. Nowhere else is this therefore. This is the definition of global citizenship, and this is how we look at it, not just through random selection, not just through nebulous concepts that are woven in over the course of the day, but because our humanity comes in by doing good to the others.
Because we must have action and service as part of our curriculum, because we must have global context as part of our lesson planning, you create a system where teachers need to be aware, you create a system where students need to be aware, and not only do they need to be aware, but they obviously need to engage. And so it creates a school climate where kids are constantly doing that.
It's about connecting with people in the world. It's about the fact that you hear the people say the phrase many times that the world seems to be shrinking, that our borders are breaking down, that technology is changing the world. And there are so many things that make somebody a global citizen.
We felt that as soon as you said, "Oh, you've got to differentiate. You've got to differentiate your work." The teachers were thinking, "Oh my goodness, there's 32 children in this class. I've got to do 32 different lessons. I'm going to have to make 4 worksheets. I'm going to have to do one for this student, one for this student, one for this student." And we tried to teach our staff that there were lots of other things that you could do to show that you could differentiate and to show that you could meet the needs of everybody in your classroom.
At our school is very connected to our curriculum. So we provide within our school day, within the curriculum that we're teaching our students already, we provide these opportunities within the context of their academic curriculum. So they're having opportunities to perform service connected to what they're already learning. That really allows students to participate with their academic curriculum in a more experiential way, which deepens and strengthens the learning that they take away from that experience.
Diverse personalities, one common goal, diverse backgrounds, the differences in our schools were massive. But it brought us together with the love for children and for them to improve their PISA ratings, the improvement in schools.
We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make the planet again. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's to make a better day. Just you and me.
We have passports, we have different curriculums. Then we have something which is certainly drilled in to many children around the world about national competitiveness. So here we are as a planet facing, this generation of young people will face challenges that no other generation of human beings have experienced before. Growth in population, I don't want to scare you, sorry. Growth in population, climate change, antibiotic resistance and so forth. Lots of big challenges. And yet we still hear, anyone's looking at the US candidate elections at the moment will we'll see this sort of idea of let's make this country great rather than that country. And the points I'm making is that these powerful structures that exist in society that have carried into this century mitigate against global citizenships. Would any of you like to comment on some of this? How do we move beyond these structures that are intended to keep us apart?
New class, new teacher, same question. What do you want to do when you grow up? I want to be happy. You misunderstood the question. But this kid at age 15 wrote back for the first time in his life, said, "Dear teacher, I'm sorry. I did not misunderstood the question. I think you misunderstood life."
Since we are a Swiss school, how do we build teams? Well, we ski. So if you don't mind, I'll ask you to please ski with me. If you would please, in groups of 3 or 4, imagine that you are traveling through the Swiss Alps and you are in search for the cure for laziness. And in your travels, you come across an avalanche. Unfortunately, all your team's skis disappear and there's only one magical pair left. And on that magical pair, all of you, all 3, 4 of you, have to travel back to safety.
It's based around principles of design thinking. I know there have been some sessions earlier today on that. But more than anything, it's about how we use the principles of human-centred design and how it can be used within schools, by school children, in order to not only help them develop this global citizen mindset, but also potentially take on some of the challenges within the global world that we now live in, the issues that we now face, and how you can actually bring that in practical terms into schools themselves. Okay?
Gary and I started out really with the end in mind. We knew that our students came from different countries, and most of our students actually come from the Emirates as well. But where we thought our students needed some further input was recognising the world outside of Dubai. As you know, we live in a wonderful city, it's very safe, very clean, and it's not always that you see what the world looks like beyond. So our aim was to develop our students really as global citizens, and we decided to do that by building a partnership with a school in a different location.
Whenever we say the word global citizen, many words come to our mind. We're talking about preventing poverty, we're talking about stop using weapons, we're talking about human rights, we're talking about many things that might come up to our mind regarding this word. However, since we're talking about science, since we're scientific people and we're going to talk about this from the science perspective, my main focus is going to be about thinking as a global or being a global citizen from the 2 main perspectives, which is the sustainability and the environmental protection.
When we think about learning support and support for learning, I want to think about it in a broader context in terms of supporting holistic development for every child, supporting all of their needs, their social, their personal, their communication, their physical, their cognitive, all aspects of their development. So I'm not just limiting it to academics or achievement in tests or in class, but more to do with their personal, social, emotional, cognitive well-being and development as well.
When we talk about global citizenship education, it allows for the cognitive development skills. That means the ability to shift perspectives and also to think critically on global issues. It also allows for the development of socio-emotional skills, that is, the feeling of belonging to a common humanity, justice, equality, dignity, sharing, and of course behavioral skills, the ability to act responsibly as well as effectively, not only on the local level but also at the national as well as global levels.
In 2008, 85% of the population was said to be determined to be literate, and see how it is moving ahead, and in 2015 it's 93%. The credit obviously goes to a very well planned and a well defined system, because this hasn't happened overnight.
Global, this is according to the Oxford English Dictionary, obviously not the only source of information out there, but pretty handy. Okay, so global, relating to the whole world or worldwide, or relating to or encompassing the whole of something or a group of things. Okay, and again, I go back to this idea, what I like to think of global as well, is in this context of the award, how service, skill, physical, recreation, adventurous journey all encompass a student or a young person. Okay, that's quite important.
The world is changing, there are conflicts happening, why should we care? Well, for your information, according to the 2014 census, the UAE population is 9.5 million and which is expected to turn to around 10.4 million by the year 2020. Immigrants, we all know that they form more than 80% of the population. 250,000 expatriates are expected in Dubai alone by the year 2020. Now imagine, with such a massive intermingling of cultures and nationalities, we need to equip our children with the knowledge of their role locally and globally even more than anybody else.
Cover the entire school.
And the idea is that this creates a kind of friction between the grades. Now grade 9 schools are competing with this school, the grade 11. They just brought V360 camera, in which we have wider view and maybe more developed, and they create their own website. The basic thing I want to say is that maybe you will say, okay, we can do it using the school's website. We have a link to the school website. In the school website, you can press on a link to get to our website. But I want my students to be accountable for their learning. They have to manage things. Because if you ask him to do something, it's different from if he's doing something for his own. So he will feel accountable and he will it's a challenge, it must be successful. I have to do this.
The journey through our presentation will provide you with powerful insights that will initiate a clarion call from within for justice, equality, and a fair society for all, and a deep understanding and appreciation of all cultures. In fact, the mission of our school highlights global citizenship as one of the strongest pillars which we continually develop through various school programs with special emphasis on specific knowledge, skills, attitudes and behaviors that need to be taught on the pathway to becoming a global citizen.
What we teach is almost above what we would teach elsewhere in the world. Those whole concepts of global citizenship, we're very lucky to be able to think at that real top level of what a true global citizen is. And it's important that when we're delivering that we respect where our students are, however, without making assumptions of what they believe. And that's quite a difficult thing to balance, because all the time, don't we make assumptions. We make assumptions that our children understand the world, that they understand different cultures, they understand different religions and different values. But what we found is that teaching social studies in our school is not necessarily always the case.
I think globalization educationally is like this concept of kind of coming together and embracing like ethnic and racial diversity, because I feel like especially in international schools and especially in Dubai we have so many races and so many cultures, and I think it's very important educationally to give that opportunity and use it effectively, because I feel like we can learn a lot about each other's culture and language, especially language, educationally, and you can integrate that into your curriculum and syllabus and kind of learn how to deal with people from different cultures and from different countries. And I think that would be really effective in creating like a successful learning environment in the future as well. So yeah.